Golden Shoppers! Welcome once again to my channel. This is Sir Job and welcome to Sir Job TV. Para sa lahat po ng mga new explorers tsaka newly discovered pa lang po sa akin channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for you to be updated with my future videos. So for today's lesson, i-discuss ko po sa inyo ang topic ng territorial dispute between Spain and Portugal. Welcome to my video number 116. Good morning once again, Golden Shoppers. Today is May 4, 2021 and today is Tuesday. Pero patuloy pa rin tayo magbibigay sa inyo ng meaningful discussion dito pa rin sa mundo ng social sciences. So nabanggit ko na po sa inyo kanina na ang pag-uusapan natin is ang territorial dispute between the rival countries. So take note po, pag sinabi kong rival countries before, we have the Spain and of course the Portugal. So para sa umagang ito, i-discuss ko sa inyo ang mga different treaties or kasunduan, like for example, the Papal Bull or the Caetera, the Treaty of Tordesillas, and the Treaty of Zaragoza. So yan po ang i-discuss natin para sa umagang ito. So the voyage of Christopher Columbus generated misapprehension and dispute between Spain and Portugal. Take note po natin ha, the voyage of Christopher Columbus. When was that? Diba? If you can recall, nung na-discover niya ang tinatawag nilang New World, that was 1492 in the history. Okay, so yun ang naging metsa, okay, or yun ang naging starting point na nagkaroon ng misunderstanding ang dalawang rival countries, which is the Spain and Portugal. Okay, kasi nga they discovered a new land separated from what we so-called the continent of Europe at the time. So doon nagsimula ang conflict, doon nagsimula ang mas pinaigting na invade between these particular rival countries, ladies and gentlemen. King John of Portugal protested on the ground that it was an incursion by the Spain of his sphere of influence. Incursion meaning to say nanghimasok, okay, or the invasion of the Spaniards to the sphere of influence ng mga Portuguese. Okay, so yun po ang claim ni King John. Okay, so that is why mas uminit po talaga ang tensyon between the existence of the Spaniards and the Portuguese at that certain point, right after the discovery of Christopher Columbus sa tinatawag nating quote-unquote na New World. So that is why in order to, the first step na ginawa po nila just to mediate everything na nagkaroon na or na-develop na conflict between the two rival countries, nagkaroon ngayon ng tinatawag nating Papal Bull or the Caetera. Okay, ano ibig sabihin ng Papal Bull or the Caetera? It was issued by Pope Alexander VI to mediate the conflict between the two Catholic countries. Okay, to mediate the conflict. So nag-issue ngayon si Pope Alexander VI ng isang Papal Bull or the Caetera. Okay, just to end up a little, or the first step in order to end up that particular conflict. Spain and Portugal on May 4 of 1493. So take note ha, a year after, because that was 1492 kung mababalikan natin ang discovery of Christopher Columbus sa New World. Okay, so ngayon, May 4 of 1493, nag-issue po si Pope Alexander VI ng tinatawag nating Papal Bull, dividing the unknown world into two. So yun po ang purpose actually ng Caetera or the Papal Bull, which is to divide the unknown world into two para magkaroon ng end up yung conflict between the two rival countries. So in this particular process, lands to the west of the line he said were belonging to the Spain and the lands to the east were belonging to Portugal. So sa west portion, lahat yan siya ay para sa mga Spaniards. At saka sa east portion naman po ay pag-aari din po yan ng Portugal, okay, or ng mga Portuguese. So yan sa inyong screen ngayon, makikita ninyo ang Spain at Portugal division. This is a picture ha, so tinatawag nating Caetera or the Papal Bull issued by Pope Alexander VI. So meron tayong legend dito sa baba, kung ma-observe niyo dyan sa mapang nakikita nyo ngayon sa screen, yung yellow line na yan, okay, na makikita nyo sa gitna mismo, yan ang demarcation line na nabuo nung tinatawag nating the Papal Bull. Portugal. Okay, na kung saan makikita natin na dito sa west portion is para siya sa Spain at saka ang east portion naman is para sa Portugal. So yan po ang picture ng division of the Anon land that was actually issued by Pope Alexander VI, okay, just to mediate the conflict. So by virtue of Caetera, it gives Spain the right over any lands newly discovered by Columbus or yung tinawag nating the New World. Lahat yun siya is pag-aari po ng mga Spaniards. According to the virtue of Caetera, equivalent to the Portuguese territories found along the western coast of Africa and India. So by virtue of Caetera, yun po ang portion ng mga Portuguese in the division of what we so-called the Anon land at the time. But after the proposal of the Caetera or the Papal Bull, after the presentation, hindi pumayag ang mga Portuguese sa division according to the virtue of the Caetera. The perceptive Portuguese, however, realizing the Spanish Pope's bias, okay, according to them, bias po ang desisyon, okay, ni Pope Alexander VI as to how he divided the Anon land, did not readily agree to the established demarcation line. So nag-disagree sila for short, okay? Hindi nila tinanggap, okay, yung division na nabuo with the so-called Caetera or the Papal Bull issued by Pope Alexander VI. Instead, they work for its revision to reduce the area of the territory granted to the Spanish explorers in the New World. To reduce, meaning to say, there's another portion in the west na gustong kunin ng mga Portuguese in the process. So dahil nga hindi pumayag ang mga Portuguese sa kasunduan ng Caetera or the Papal Bull, nagkaroon ngayon ng tinatawag nating Treaty of Tordesillas. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? King John of Portugal, however, threatened war against Spain, claiming the Spanish monarchs had been given too much an advantage with the presentation of the Papal Bull or Caetera. So that is why naghahamon ngayon ang mga Portuguese ng isang war, okay, or they threatened the existence of the Spaniards that if they will not have to solve or to resolve this particular issue, there is a war to be happened. So yun po ang sabi ng mga Portuguese. So that is why in 1494, diplomas from two Catholic countries met at Tordesillas, Spain. Okay, ito po, that is why tinawag po siyang Treaty of Tordesillas kasi doon po mismo naganap ang kasunduan, okay, in Tordesillas, Spain. They agreed to another demarcation line. So nabago po ang konsepto ng coverage. They agreed to another demarcation line 370 leagues or about 1,100 miles farther west, thus assigning Brazil, okay, to Portugal. This was a veritable to Portuguese. Assigning Brazil, balikan natin. Because remember, long time ago, kung mababalikan natin yung video na na-release ko already sa inyo discussing the voyages of the Portuguese in the Anon land, di ba, yung pangatlo nating explorer na si Pedro Cabral, ano ang sabi ni Pedro Cabral? I just want to reiterate to you, he tried to retrace Vasco da Gama's route, correct? Cited Brazil, okay, and claimed it for Portugal in 1500. Because basically, one of the explorers ng mga Portuguese na silayan or na witness or na discover na po talaga ang mismong Brazil. That is the reason why with the virtue of Caetera na hindi nakuha ng mga Portuguese ang portion ng Brazil, hindi sila pumayag. So by the virtue of Treaty of Tordesillas, naibigay na ngayon sa mga Portuguese ang Brazil. So take a look at the map right now. Kung makikita ninyo, meron diyang blue na line na nagsiseparate, meaning to say from that yellow line, okay, kanina na ipinakita ko sa inyo, by virtue of Caetera, nag-move siya further to the west. Okay, meaning to say, nakuha niya ngayon ang Brazil or naging part na ngayon ang Brazil ng mga Portugal, okay? Or ng territory ng Portuguese. Okay, so yan po ang one of the changes na nabuo by the virtue of the Treaty of Tordesillas. So to strengthen the policy and the agreement or yung kasunduan na ginawa actually between the rival countries, so nagkaroon naman ngayon ng pangatlong treaty na tinatawag nating Treaty of Zaragoza. So in the first place, why Treaty of Zaragoza was established? Bakit siya nabuo? A peace treaty between Castile and Portugal Portugal or the Spain and Portugal signed on April 22 of 1529 by King John III of Portugal and Castilian Emperor Charles V in the Aragonese city of Zaragoza. So doon po mismo na-sign ang treaty na ito, kaya tinawag po siyang Treaty of Zaragoza. In between King John III and Emperor Charles V, no, ang kasanduan na ito in order to end up the problem, no, to fully end up the problem or the rival between Spain and Portugal. The treaty defined the areas of Castilian and Portuguese influence in Asia. So in order to resolve the Moluccas issue, kasi pinaka-highlight po talaga ito, itong Moluccas issue. So both countries po ng Spain at Portugal is nasilayan at nakapunta po sila sa tinatawag nating Spice Islands. So that is why in order para ma-end up no kung sino ang nagmamay-ari sa place na ito, sa portion ng Spice Islands sa tinatawag na yan, nagkaroon ngayon ng Treaty of Zaragoza, which had arisen because both kingdoms claimed the Molucco Islands, okay, for themselves, asserting that they were within their area of influence as specified in 1494 by the Treaty of Zaragoza. So anong nangyari with the virtue of this particular treaty? The conflict began in 1520, if we are going to go back, when the expeditions of both kingdoms reached the Pacific Ocean. Kasi nga doon sa ating first video, naglalayag po ang dalawang bansa na ito, looking for the new route, remember? So that is why meron talaga silang karapatan to claim the what we so-called Spice Islands in Southeast Asia. Okay? So that is why kailangan talaga magkaroon ng kasanduan kung sino ang nagmamay-ari sa place na ito, talking about the Spice Islands, because no agreed meridian of longitude had been established in the Orient. Kasi wala tayong tinatawag na longitude na nagsiseparate. Unlike nun sa pinakita ko sa inyo sa Caetera at saka yung Treaty of Tordesillas, na meron talagang clear na division with the unknown world. Okay? But talking about the Moluccas Islands or the Spice Islands na tinatawag natin, wala pong clear na longitude na nagdi-divide sa pagmamay-ari po ng dalawang rival countries na ito. So in your screen right now, makikita ninyo ngayon, dito sa west portion, yan yung tinatawag nating Treaty of Tordesillas. The Caetera, the evolution from the Caetera to Treaty of Tordesillas, hanggang sa dito sa portion na ito, yung broken line na yan, here sa bandang may word na Moluccas, yan yung representation ng tinatawag nating Treaty of Zaragoza. Okay, na kung saan kung makikita ninyo, cover po actually ng mga Portuguese ang tinatawag nating Spice Islands. But later on, alamin natin kung ano ang nangyari with the lack of understanding or knowledge with geography during those times. Kasi ano pa ng year na ito, no? But they were already dividing this what we so-called unknown lands. Okay? So yan po ang representation ng tinatawag nating Treaty of Zaragoza. So on April 22 of 1529, Spain and Portugal, under which Portugal won possession of the Moluccas. So ibig sabihin, as to the history, na ibigay po actually sa kamay ng mga Portuguese ang tinatawag nating Spice Islands. Okay, accordingly, by the virtue of Treaty of Zaragoza. In this case, King Charles V ceded his alleged rights to Malocco to John III of Portugal for 350,000 gold ducats, okay, not knowingly they rightfully belong to the Portuguese area of responsibility as provided for in the Treaty of Tordesillas. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nito, nagbayad po ang mga Portuguese or si King John III to Charles V of Spain. Nagbayad po siya ng 350,000 gold ducats na hindi niya alam, if we are going to understand right now the virtue of the coverage ng kanilang area of responsibility, pag-aari po actually or covered po actually sa location ng mga Portuguese ang tinatawag nating Spice Islands. But because wala silang kaalaman before, they have limited, okay, knowledge when it comes to the geography. So nagbayad ngayon ang King of Portugal sa Emperor ng Spain na si Charles V. So yun po ang nangyari. So truly an evidence of lack of proper geographical knowledge on both parties. Walang alam ang mga Spaniards, wala ding alam ang mga Portuguese. So that is why, in order for them na at least, di ba, proper yung pagbigay ng rights, kasi it was claimed by the Spaniards na may karapatan sila, okay, over that particular disputed Spice Islands nung panahon na yun. So ngayon, bumayad ngayon yung King of Portugal. So ito po yung nangyari sa kasaysayan if we are going to discuss kung papaano po na-control ng mga Portuguese ang lugar na ito na tinatawag nating Spice Islands long ago. So in view of the treaty, the Spanish goal in the West was limited only to the Philippines, okay? Thus, for quite some time, the Hispano-Lusitanian rivalry for hegemony in Southeast Asia would stop. So if we're going to interpret the evolution of those particular treaties na nabuo from the Caetera or the Papal Bull that was issued to us by Pope Alexander VI hanggang nagkaroon ng Treaty of Tordesillas until such time na nabuo ang Treaty of Zaragoza, at least for some time, di ba nakastate ito, for some time nagkaroon po ng peaceful na administration ang different countries na ito in different colonies na pinamumunuan nila. Because right after that one, nung pumasok po ang mga Spaniards in the Philippines to control over, kasi next discussion natin dito is ang pagpasok na po ng mga Spaniards sa Pilipinas, particularly with the expedition of Magellan and the next expedition right after that particular expedition of Ferdinand Magellan in the Indian world. So ganun po ang nangyari. So meaning to say, nag-focus na ang mga Spaniards sa kanilang colony at saka nag-focus na rin ang mga Portuguese sa kanilang mga mismong colony. So once again, ang diniscuss natin para sa umagang ito is tungkol pa rin sa Caetera or the Papal Bull, the Treaty of Tordesillas, and the Treaty of Zaragoza. So I hope that you understood everything kung ano yung connectivity ng mga treaties na ito and how they occupy the new lands or the unknown lands that we are talking in the age of exploration. So that will be all for this morning. I hope you learned something from this video and I hope that you will share this video to your friends and to anybody else that you think na kailangan ng video na ito. Asahan niyo po that Territorial TV will continue to discuss more meaningful discussions, especially in the world of social sciences. Thank you once again for watching. Bye-bye!